Good evening, and welcome to Think About It Using Common Sense. Um, Today, I want to talk about this inflation that we're having. And we are having, or we are in the midst of a inflation. Excuse me. But the inflation that we are having is only felt by the low income and middle class one and two. Um, And as I was driving minutes ago, I heard on the news that small business owners are suffering. And when you think about it, all these companies, big companies, Wall Street, oil companies, gas companies, they all having record profits now. And when they're having record profits, that means that they are increasing prices for the low income, the middle class. Rich it doesn't affect. So when they raise the prices, that means that and people their salaries are not being increased proportionally. So that means they don't have money to spend in business for the small business owners. There's no money for them. And as I'm looking around, the people that's really making the money these days and spending them are the rich because they have it. They don't see an inflation. Gas could go up to $20 a gallon. Wouldn't stop it. You and I couldn't drive. So when there's an inflation and people have to spend money on the necessities, there's no money to spend anywhere else. And it's at a point whereas the um, economy and the future economy, it's not even being, from what I'm saying, unless I'm missing something, it's not even being set up for the low income, middle class one and two. Because if you have gas with these electric cars, 70, 80, $90,000, $150,000 for some trucks uh, and cars. They saying the price of turkeys this year going up like $1.49, $1.59 a pound from last year. So now Thanksgiving dinner is in jeopardy. So things is happening now. It's the beginning. It's the beginning of more to come. And this is what the title of my podcast is. When is enough enough? Here's a man that owns or have billions and billions of dollars. So, what is it possible, or possibly can I say that with this type of money, you can buy anything you want to buy? So, when you acquire something or you want to do something, especially when it comes down to politics or some type of company that has an impact on millions and millions of people, it's a power thing. It can't possibly be about money because you have more money than you would ever spend. And when you do something like that, you're putting your life in the hands of people, individuals, or an individual, can do whatever they want to do, and you have to submit. You have to submit to their demands. You have no other choice. When you don't have anything, you don't have any say in it. And when it comes to the politicians running things, the ones that have been running things, they've been in office 10, 20, 30, 40 years or more. In 2022, this country seems to be in worse shape than it's ever been when it comes to poor and the middle class here in this country. The rich have more wealth than they've ever had before, but yet the poor and the middle class has less. But yet, as long as we continue to fight amongst ourselves, you're never going to have anything. And the way I see things are being developed today, you're even not in the position to even have anything. Can't afford it. So when you can't afford something and you're non-productive, you're being placed by robotics. So now you're putting yourself in a category of the unneeded. Because we have to start thinking and looking at life realistically. Whenever you have 1-2% controls 85 or have 85 or 90% of all the wealth in the world, it's a problem. And for these people to have all this wealth, be wealthy. I'm not sitting here, some type of person is sitting here making up this stuff. This is it's out there. And for these people to have all this wealth, and I mean, it's almost as if they you're always gonna have problems. That's the best way I can say it. You're always gonna have problems, and the only way these problems gonna go away, the people at the top will have to turn loose some of this money. But the saddest thing about it is when these companies making all this money, billions and billions of dollars in profit, the money is coming from the low income and the middle class. That's where the money's coming from. And this is why you have nothing. Just turn the TV on sometime and just look at the ads. Everybody wants to put their hands in your pocket to get your money. And especially today with social media and number of people that just tune in to television and different channels. You can come out with something that doesn't even sell. You can come out with something. Oh, well, here I have a pill here. You can take this pill and it'll take 20 years off your life. Pill is $9.99. Okay. If the pill doesn't work, you get 1 million people to buy that pill at $9.99, and if every one of them people take that pill and throw it in the trash, manufacturer of that pill, the ones that sell it, have made let's say 10 $10 million. That's how easy it is to make money. Throw it in the trash. So money adds up, people. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Money adds up. It adds up when you're making money, and it adds up when you're spending money. You cannot spend money and have money. You have to budget. You may think, oh, well, I don't need to budget. But you have to, because things are set up for you to spend money. Stores are set up a certain way for you to walk through, so knowing that you're going to probably pick up 2 or 3 items before you get to where you need to be to buy what you came there for. You buy food, you buy stuff, they put sugar in it to make it taste good. They put color on it to make it look good for you to buy. I'm not saying don't buy because that's part of capitalism, that's part of the system that we live in, that I think it's a great system, but it has been corrupted. Greed, selfishness have destroyed capitalism under the name of business. You know, from what I heard on the news, the ex-president today is in court, company tax evasion or something like that. This country is a young country, and it's a shame what has been done. But what has been done has not been done by you and I, or the low income, the middle class. It's been done by the wealthy. It's been done by the people that's in control. It has been done by the politicians that we have elected to look after this country, to take care of this country, and to take care of the American people. It's not been done. There's no reason in the world that I can see here in 2022 at the end. In 2022, we still here addressing racism. We still addressing poverty throughout the world. We're still addressing literacy. We're still addressing crime. We're still addressing hunger. We're still addressing women's rights. Where have we gone in all these years? Where have we gone? It seemed to me nowhere but backwards. The only thing I'm trying to get people to do is just to think. We have election coming up, the 8th. And we have all these politicians running now. Now all of a sudden we're in the worst times that we've ever had. And when people talk about how good it is, it's only for that select few. The rest of them still struggling. It has gotten worse because now things are in the hands of a few, whereas before we used to have the mom and pop stores throughout the neighborhood, the restaurants throughout the neighborhoods. It's gone. Yeah, but now we go to a huge big warehouse and give it a name, and everything is right there. So if that's shut down, guess what? You don't eat. They can control the prices of everything you buy. And if you want to eat, you have to pay for it. That's the problem with giving up and consolidating everything. It's consequences for everything. And it's time for us to wake up and realize that what's happening now, all the crime, and I hear the lady was talking about on the news today about the detention centers or something for the youth. It's overcrowded. But guess what? These kids is the product It's the end product of what has not been done prior. Whether it's the parents taking care of them, or whether it's the results of drugs being put into the neighborhood, uh, type of education that's being done, or whether it's the realizing that or knowing that you are the product of your environment. And if the parents are on drugs, the parents are uneducated, what make you think the kids all of a sudden gonna be doctors and lawyers, scientists? That's only for those, the majority of those who have money, who have knowledge, and who have educated their children and taught their children about life, about how to use money, the importance of an education. Let me tell you what happened. I went to, I was in Rite Aid, and I saw this young uh, Afro American, and he was at the counter, and I asked him, I said, "Were you in school?" Because I didn't know whether or not he was in high school or maybe a freshman in college. So he told me, he said, "I don't know if I want to go to college." He said he's in high school, but he didn't know whether he wanted to go to college or not. Now, right away, I don't know how any kid in school can say you don't know where you want to go to college. And I told him, I said, without a college education or without an education, I said, there's no place for you. There's no job for you but uh, a minimum wage job. And that's going to be difficult because there's going to be so many people looking for those jobs because because they haven't been educated. It's going to be even tough to get that. So I said, let me ask you a question. I said, if I asked you if you would work for me for 4, 5, 6 years, and after that time, I could almost guarantee you 250, 200, $250,000 a year for life. Would you would you do that? Would you take that? Would you work for me 4 or 5 years, maybe six? If I could promise you $250,000 a year for the rest of your life, would you do that? He thought about it for a minute. He said, "Yeah." And he said, "That's pretty good." He said, "I'll do that." I said, "Well, you know what? Do that in college." I said, "Put that 5 or 6 years in college and do the best you can and study." I said, "Don't be getting involved in all this other stuff out here. Don't let your friends tell you don't do this, don't do that." I said, "Don't pay them no attention. Just focus on your education." I said, "You can do that." And he looked like to me he paid attention. He gave that some thought, you know. And I just think it may have made him think about it, change his mind about college and education. But the fact that this young man in school, education and college should be drilled into these kids' head the way things are today. But for a kid to be, he looked at maybe about 10th, ninth, 10th, 11th grade, I don't know. Yeah, he didn't talk about what grade he was in. But for him to say that to me, I was shocked. I was really shocked. Because all these kids should know that a higher level of education is needed if you're going to succeed in life. And it's so much so much going on. It's almost as if uh, people have their heads in the sand. It's like they don't think, or they just think about, well, I'm working, it's okay for me. But that's not how excuse me, that's not how the world operates. It's not how the world works. Everything depends on the other in order for it to function properly and run smooth. And so do people. So do people. And once you get your focus and get your priorities straight, you can begin to see that. You know, it's no harm. It's no harm in just being nice. There's no harm in that. But the thing about it is the people at the top with all the money, they don't want you to be smart. They don't want you to be healthy. You know, it's because it's too much money out there for you being ignorant. It's too much money out there for you to be unhealthy. Too much money. And that's why I always say the love of money. The love of money is going to be the downfall of mankind. I see it. It's already happening. What can you do? If you got $1 billion, $1 billion is $1,000 million. Now, what the heck you need more money for? Well, that's a lot of money. And we got SpaceX, for example. You got a couple of people. I don't know how many people own that stock in it. But how many going out there? How many low income, middle class, one and two going into outer space? I can tell you right now, none. Right, none. And you have when you get people with so much money and so much power, people that can be very dangerous. Be dangerous, and it also can be good. It also can be good. So, but the thing about it is, can we, when election time come around, as dire as things are in our political world today, can we afford to just take chances and say, "Oh well, you know what? Let them get in. That's okay." But when you see red flags, people, you have to pay attention. When you see uh, uh, the things where it says, it's a saying that say, "Birds of a feather flock together." When you see it, when you see people over here that does bad things, so to speak, and then all of a sudden you buddies with these people over here, you're their friends. So then you're guilty by association. So you just like them. So and what I'm really talking about, I'm talking about uh, the uh, January 6th, the insurrection, the coup. All this is on the news. It's nothing that I'm making up. But this is real stuff. This is real stuff. And this is stuff that uh, I don't even think I've had a decent night's sleep since it happened. Because number one, it's dangerous, it's terrible. And number two, I cannot believe that the politicians are so smart that have been in office for years and have operated under the same political system all of a sudden, when they know better. Doesn't take a rocket scientist. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that all that stuff was a sham. It was a lie. They even had committees to prove people that was on the inside. They come out and say it was a lie. And these people, these politicians, still refuse to believe it. My question is, why? My question is, what is it that they're really trying to hide? Either they're trying to hide something or they know something that they're not telling us. And either that, if they're not hiding something, then people, we better be shown up on point when it comes to voting, because we're going to lose America. When you lose America, you're going to lose your democracy, and you're going to lose your freedom, and you're never going to get it back. You're talking about chaos. You're really going to see some chaos. You talking about some violent crimes. You talking about guns and stuff. You're gonna see it, and it ain't gonna be about politicians. It's gonna be about survival from each other, because we're not gonna have anything. Excuse me. People gonna be fighting over food. They're gonna be fighting over places to live, and the rich is not even gonna be around. They might be in a condo out in space somewhere. Because the rich don't associate down here in the ghetto with the poor and the middle class. And all of a sudden now you got all these rich people running for office talking about they can fix this and fix that. Well, why haven't you fixed it years ago? You don't even live in the state, but yet you're running. How in the world you gonna sit up here and tell somebody how they gonna run their life, take care of their bodies, what they can and cannot do? Who are you? Who are you to have this type of knowledge that you think you have? You come in, you come into office, a lot of you, paupers, and you go out multimillionaires. Where's all this money coming from? So anyway, people, I could talk more, but right now I do have to go. Okay. Thank you very, very much, and talk to you later.